Hey folks, Tim Cool here with Prodigy Outdoors and Prodigy Outdoors CBD. Use code HONEIN for $5 off at prodigyoutdoorscbd.com. Today I'm at my local archery club, and it's very important for you guys to join your local archery clubs. I've been a member at one archery clubs in Virginia and Maryland and now Iowa, and they've all been great. As you know, most people in the archery community and in the archery industry are great people and very friendly, and it's a good place to take your friends and family and introduce them to archery. So today I've got a new release from B3 Archery, the Infinity. I got this release in brass because, well, my last hinge release was in brass as well. So there's no real reason beyond that. That's just what I shot before. I've never felt a stainless steel one, but I know they make this in aluminum and also stainless steel, so you have your options. The most important thing about this release is that the sear is micro adjust. I've been shooting a different release, and I will get into that after, for a number of years now, and have shot very well. Recently I tried to adjust the release, and now I can't get it back remotely close to where it was. Every time I loosen the sear, it moves, and every time I tighten the sear, it moves, and it's just a constant battle between hot and cold. And it's kind of reduced my confidence, and I do plan on hunting with this release, so it's very important for me to be comfortable with my equipment. I've been looking into micro adjust releases, and I've discovered the B3 line, the Infinity line here. So second to that would be the Pro package here that I have, and it comes with a deep hook like this, which I'm trying out, and then kind of a more narrower, shallower hook, you know, more of your normal hinge style, and also a 4-finger, which I've never shot, and I may never even try it, but it's there. And these are in aluminum. I actually thought these were plastic, similar to the company that makes these as an add-on feature for different releases that's out there in the market, and theirs is a 3D printed or plastic, some type of plastic. These are actually aluminum, they feel like, and they're actually metal. So do not be fooled with the quality or concern of quality with these, because these are actually machined, and they're very smooth and well polished, and they have a patented little gear system in there, so you're able to rotate this on this peg and fine-tune exactly where you want this hook. This is called the Pro hook that I'm using here. I don't mean to keep staring at the release and talking, but I am just very fascinated by this release. But at any rate, so you've got the micro adjusted sear, and you've got the micro adjusted hook or finger peg, finger post, if you will. And this release comes very cold from the factory, which is fine. And I thought that I could shoot it as is, and just to shoot, and I really couldn't get it to go off. It's set so cold, probably for safety reasons, honestly, and that's good. But I had a theory in my head, well, maybe if I adjust this Pro hook, I could get the release to fire quicker or faster or slower. It didn't really work. When I moved this hook here, it kind of just, I tried to do it very aggressively, kind of almost forward, and it actually just squished my fingers together. So I realized, okay, I need to adjust this sear. So that's why I thought of making this video here and going through the process of adjusting the sear. Now, I will say too that the last release I shot was a Scott Pro Advantage that I customized and basically welded and soldered this hook in there so that I can use this as a wrist strap for hunting. And just to compare and contrast, very similar as far as the look, other than the hook that moves and maybe the heads of the release. They've definitely made the head of the Infinity a lot more compact. The hook is a much deeper hook, but it looks to be a better shape, if you will, if that makes any sense. They've really looked like they've made the head smaller. As you can see, the head is much smaller in its size. The sear is smaller, it appears, and they just have kind of streamlined it, if you will. The other nice thing I noticed is that this has 2 rubber bands on the hook that bring it back into place, and I noticed that it brings it back into place in a much more firm position or place, which will allow me to hook into my D-loop when I'm hunting and not to worry about it not being in the right spot. So I do like that. The other most important thing is I noticed for me, I have bigger hands. I'm 6'3" almost, and I have a 30-inch draw. So I didn't know this because I've never shot this release, but I really like that the post part of the release is higher on the Infinity than it is on the Pro Advantage. So I feel like my thumb is in a more natural position than it's ever been. And the ergonomics of this release feel better than the Pro Advantage. It's kind of more of a bulkier, rounded shape on the Pro Advantage. This is way more streamlined. There's also more, from what I can see here, more room in the pointer finger. I could be wrong because I don't really have huge fingers, but looks like there's a little bit more room here on the Infinity where your pointer finger would go, and definitely plenty of room here for whatever style of shooting you want as far as your middle and ring finger. But as I said before, the most important thing about this release is the micro adjust on both the finger peg and the sear. We know that historically these folks that have produced very quality ergonomic releases, so there's no concern there. I also like this more knurled finger post, thumb post peg, as well as it's got like a twisted texture instead of just the knurled, which is kind of actually feels smooth if anything. So that's a rundown of the B3 Infinity release. I made a couple shots. They are in the X. Of course, I'm not going to admit it if they weren't. Well, I just made a couple shots, and I actually had to move my finger, the Pro hook here, forward just a little bit, just to make it feel more natural for me. And I noticed that I didn't set it hot enough, so I actually moved it a little bit more. And the one thing I noticed, and I think that I read this somewhere, is if you loosen up this set screw just ever so slightly, I mean, almost not even a quarter turn, but you have to kind of move the Allen wrench very slowly as you push down on the sear. Not a lot of pressure, but let it kind of do its thing, and you will hear the sear and feel the sear click, 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 and that is the micro adjust. When I did it the first time, I wasn't paying attention. I actually loosened up the whole thing and thought that's how you did it. I didn't read the instructions completely, which is nothing new there. I think as a person and as just being a man, we do not read instructions very well. So anyway, I am shooting this release very well already. I'm very happy with it. I've even tried to mentally put myself in a situation where I just hook the release in as if a deer is coming by. And I noticed this doesn't have as much swing as this other one. This Pro Advantage, it kind of just moves more. I don't know why that is. Maybe it's just old, but I feel like the angle of this head here is at a better angle for me to quickly hook this onto my D-loop without maybe even looking and hook in and shoot a deer. I mean, I shoot this hunting. I'm not a big target archer. I do follow and research a lot of target archery and archers just for the simple fact of their technical skill and knowledge and simple, you know, their knowledge on just shooting bows and bow mechanics. So anyway, I'm gonna take a couple more shots. I'll come back with some feedback. I'll probably shoot maybe 30 shots and see how I feel. Stay tuned. Well, folks, that's all for the B3 Infinity release. I want to clarify something. I rewatched the video of what I said about the Advantage Pro peg and this peg. I wanted to be clear that the peg on the B3 is much more of a gripped textured and has this twisted pattern. It has a way better feel than the knurled peg on the Pro Advantage. I wanted to be clear, it's kind of maybe it could be misconstrued or misunderstood, but want to be clear about that. But I did just shoot a bunch. I do need to make a little adjustment with the sear. I did move the hook a little bit, and it feels a lot better, but I may go back to the regular, the shallower peg here too. It really Infinity. I mean, they call it the Infinity probably for a reason. I mean, there's infinite adjustment here. You've got infinite adjustment and precise infinite adjustment in both the sear and in the finger position, and the options of having 3-finger or a 2-finger. If you hook this thing in there even more, you could hook this peg here in, or this finger thing in. I don't know what they call them. And even more, and create a 2-finger release. So 2, 3, 4 fingers, any position you want, and click, no click.